Kunie no gelugo.
It is time.
It's time.
It is time.
It's the Money Show.
The Money Show.
The Money Show.
The Money Show.
Makodem Mandibo. Let the conversation begin.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Money Show. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. I'm on the 11th episode of Makodem Mandibo, which is the meaning of the Money Show. I hope everybody had a good time today. For those who are in our time zone and for those who are in other time zones, I hope you are having a good day. Day one, onye ọbụla na-ebe anyị apụtago ọzọ ka anyị kpaa nkata dị iche, nkata pụrụ iche. Nke a ga-adị so special because nke a pụrụ ife anyị na-ekwu since if I na-akpọ relationship ka anyị nọ ya today, mana nke a ọ bụ ọ nwere ụdị relationship anyị ga-akpa nkata ya today. Maka na ife niile metụrụ ndị Igbo metụkwala anyị, ife niile metụrụ ndị Igbo gbasara anyị. So if anyị nọ na ya bụ anyị na-akali, anyị na-amụta ife, anyị na-enekwa n'anya na nsogbu ndị a na-enwegasị ife a na-akpọ challenge makwa ka a ga-esi wee dozie ife ọ ife anyị nọ Money Show ebe a na-agada ebe ndị be anyị na-abịa, where we come to have a conversation from all over the world talking about our issues and rubbing minds and sharing ideas and finding solutions to our collective problems. And in kind of today, one of that, some people were asking me, can you find a relationship? Can I marriage? You know, a physical marriage. Oh, now do the best. They might know you, I'm in the bed. You might know them up in the bed. Ndị Igbo na-eme ife niile, anyị na-achụ ego, anyị na-anụkwa di na nwunye, anyị na-emekwa ife ndị ọzọ, ife anyị na-eme erika, and ife ọbụla anyị na-eme gbasara anyị na this program. As long as ọ na-enyere anyị aka wee na-aga n'iru, it is our business. So our business is to discuss our issues, and this is one of the things I na-enwekwa issue na, even though na na-agbali ọsọ. Nke a bụ one of those things a na-akpọ okwu a na-asọ anya, but we don't really shy away from what we need to talk about. Oge ya luo, anyị ekwuo ya, just like they say in Igbo, n'okwu aluo oge ya, ọda, oge nke elugo now. So I say ka anyị banye n'ime ya, mepee ọfụma, nenesia ya nọ, mama ya ga-afụ ife ọfụ n'ime ya, nekwanụ nke anyị si eme before. Ịma na ote ga-emebala ife a, mana anyị nọzi na agba ọfụ now, ka anyị mara ka ndị agba ọfụ si eme ya, marakwanụ ma ọ na-work ma ọ da-work. Ọ bụgo na ọ da-work, ife a ga-emekwanụ ka ọ work, ọ ife anyị nọ ya today. If you're here for the first time, this is where we gather every Saturday, 8 p.m. till like 11 or beyond that sometimes. Maybe not too much. Like I said before. And without you, we are not doing anything. We're not making any progress. But because you are here, you're part of the conversation. Whether against you, you're part of the conversation. And I would like you to share the space. Because share the space. One day na-eso gị na Twitter, ọ bụkwa na ịchọ ịbakwa na Facebook gwafa or anywhere ịchọrọ. You can share this link also on your DM, on your WhatsApp. Let everybody know na anyị ebidogo. Na ọ ma ịbagokwa again today. Ka isi eme. Daalụ no. Ekene m onye ọbụla n'ebe a. Nwanne m nwaanyị, imerekpa ole?
I'm so much Ibalego Keta. Our topic today got very hot because we're indeed developing at the timeline. Makafo, Ndioma for na the Igbo history facts, pictures. Now on your black chomala only one jarelo. See, God, you quite very cool. I'm Priscilla Amadi, your service culture evangelist, and yes, Nongata. Today has been making me speechless. You can know I've just been opening my mouth since yesterday. Manata, the pictures of Undibanyi, wine divine today. As now, I will walk out my Lola wine. I would pick one and marry one today because what is all this beauty? Anyways, I am gonna to Undibanyi ja aga every me business. All trying to get in a wine. Mo alun walking. I did big eba gara a business on Igbo. Gamra so when he me ba chili your slippers bosso. Otwaha tansha ga my business ebenile wo tansha mo are mo ebenile like aholam Igbo Pakistan before the thing that you buy you this place. You understand? Aholam him na cho na Igbo Atlantica. Okay now.
Adịkọ gị eje ebe ahụ. Adịkọ gị eje there.
On the other side already. Adim sure no. So long as only Igbo nonga ha me business, all lola wanye ba ha mola nwa. You understand? And ndomando umo the verify. One day the word get better like this na cheregodi. Everybody were Igbo in their blood.
Yes, sir.
In yoku anya otwa ha wana nwa this lady, little Prince Harry, Guinea here, Mega Mark to see when percentage of Nigeria in your yanyo in your here but anyways, let's again born more nae, born the baggy, born your enemies, born the yadu no kabia bayana toku. Eme ebe 10:30 ngubo ya do onye ọbụla ọsịsọ ka ekwu okwu ya do onye ọbụla mkpa ka ekwu okwu ngubo ndị nke ọzọ invite everyone to come join in this conversation mana gịnị ọ ga-adịkwa very hot taa akwa ya
yes see ba awugbu onye ọbụla kpọọ ụmụnne gị kpọọ ụmụnna gị unu ba awugbu ka ihe a bido ka anyị gaba ozugbo and ka o si ekwu ka m kwuo in my own mother's tongue maka mama m kwa very neighbor Priscilla neje ya a ga-eneji ya anya ama leje ya anya ama kesi my man ndewo
nwanne m kedu ka ime chuka
ego ọbụla na-eme na-asụ ka ndị Anambra ma m megbukwara onye Imo ka onye Anambra
ma onye Anambra ka m bụ amụ m n'Ọnịcha so ezigbo onye Anambra ka m bụ na tata ga-adị nnọọ gbimgbim because topic a one of those social issues that it's been hanging there somewhere na-achọ nnọọ mgbe ọ ga-land so tata ka the conversation ga-land so very interesting. Marriage but no a very huge part of our culture. Anyị bụ ndị Igbo, so marriage is not important to us. Very, very. So the context of this one, interracial, intertribal, ihe niile, gbogbo tigbo, I did discuss here and not that. So today will be very, very electrifying. So ka anyị na-aga n'ihu.
Unu anụgo ya ọnụ nke akwa nkata onye ọbụla. So ọ bụrụ na ị nwere onye mma, if you know anybody who is married to a non-Igbo Nigerian, maybe onye Yoruba, onye Hausa, Fulani, Efik, Ibibio, Idoma, just name it, all of them, Benin, anywhere, somebody onye Nigeria outside ala Igbo, gwa ha na ya na-akpa nkata, as onye Igbo, gwa ha na na-akpa nkata, ka ọ bịa share his own experience or her own experience. Ịfụkwana ndị nke na-anụ ịma na anyị na-agazi Kenya kịta na South Africa, Ghana anụzi nwaanyị na ma ndị na-anụ ndị Ghana, the same thing, haba anga ka anyị kparịa nkata anụ ka akọrọ anyị their own perspective ka ha si ahụkwana ihe ha. Enukwana ndị nke na-ahụ anụzi ndị African American na ndị nke na-anụ ndị ọcha ndị Europe, ndị kpọtara nwanne anyị nwaanyị ọcha na n'Enugu, ụdị ndị ahụ ịmụkwara ndị nke ịma nakwa n'ụdị ọnọdụ na nwunye ahụ. Tell them, let them come in and join us in this conversation. That's what it's about. Then go on onwe gị nwekwana ụmụnne ị nwere na-anụ ndị ọcha ma ndị ebe ọzọ. What you have been observing, you can share from your observation. Ka anyị kparịa nkata ndị ọzọ nwekwa ike kwu ihe ha che. It doesn't mean they ga-anụrịrị outsider before you opinion na this show. And ka anyị na-aga n'iru, anyị nwekwa a few rules anyị ji akpa nkata amụma. We have some ground rules. Imago ka ọ wee na-aga smoothly. One of them is once you grab the mic, you mute it to avoid distracting us with noise in your background. 2, when you are asked to speak, just go straight to the point. No protocol, no ogonoga akụkọ, just go straight to the point. Ka I will save your time. 3rd one, stick to the conversation. Na kwa ihe na ba ibe na anya n'enu, o topic anyị na ya anyị ọhụma, na-eje ya anyị ama, and then follow it. Give your submission according to that. Ịjọkwa na-eju ajụjụ, the same thing. Ask your question according to the topic. I will not a context. Like I orderly people. Don't take us to another direction. Another one about avoid noisy environments. Keep your mic on mute until we have quietness around you. And then the last one, I will civilize people. I need respect to call wine, but so when you're don't insult anybody, and also respect yourself as well. Nelo, grab the mic. I'm na even over there, so again, a lot of Nigerians and Igbo and on the Ocha as your neighbor or your friends or family friends and stuff. So, but and then every other person, feel free to come in, request a mic, and we'll give you the room to speak and give your submission as we go. I guess some introduction of this topic. I got it interesting. Marriage was never designed to be strictly had in a particular community, within a particular community, restricted to that community or tribe or race. It was never like that. Like from the beginning of what we know as history of humanity, what we can recognize, and they even with the names, people have been marrying people outside their country, their tribe, their community. It's been happening for thousands of years. In fact, the reason why we have countries emerging, nations emerging from other nations is because of this kind of things. It makes it easier. And in the I mean, if you look at Igbo history, if you try to study Igbo history, you got what kind of Igbo we in one particular place in Enugu State or Ebonyi State or Anambra State where no, people migrated, people came over to this land from different places. Ụfọdụ si na ndị Jew bịara, ụfọdụ si na ndị Malaysia, ndị Ethiopia bịara, ụfọdụ si na ndị Sudan bịara. And were people that moved from different places, bịa n'ala Igbo a, ebe ọdịda anyanwụ anụnwa, to come and build a life. That's how it works. And when they come, of course, when you go to a community, you cannot marry only your people. This is the reason why when you go to some parts of Ali Igbo, like if you go to places like Imo State, Owerri, some areas around Owerri, you will notice that Igahun the very, very light-skinned. Very light-skinned. Of biracial, for not be half caste. But I call it biracial. Of biracial. Oh, in brown. You just another part of Ali Igbo. I with different faces, different shapes, different eye colors, different looks. Sometimes even the hair they differ. Why? It's because then we're different bloods mixing grow through inter-tribal marriage. So this is not a new thing to us at all. And even over the last 100 years, I'm with Nigeria, I'm with them, even before I know. A lot of Igbos moved to Lagos more than 80 years ago, settled in Lagos. Some of them married non-Igbos. In fact, then we're recording a lot of them married the Yorubas that came back from Brazil. Ndanaza da Silva, Ndotu Badebo. A lot of them that came back from Brazil after the slave trade ended. Many of them that settled in Lagos met Igbos who moved to Lagos to settle in Lagos. That's why you notice that a lot of families that belong to those that are descendants of those people, a lot of them are married to Igbo people. I don't know if you guys have noticed that. A lot of them are married to Igbo people. In fact, although that's as popular, as known as it is, it's so prevalent. A lot of people in Lagos, their grandmother was Igbo, many of them, or great-grandmother. You know, so always the hand is always any big deal. So if I want to go very ordinary, very common. So the guy then after the war, of course, a lot of people moved out of Ali Igbo, Gayabendos, so of course they met people. And one thing about Inhobi, even Solomon, King Solomon asked Nonya the wisest person. Also, there are three things I don't understand in this world, in this life. One of them is the way of a sheep in the water. The other one is the way of a serpent on a rock. The third one is the way between a man and a woman, the way of a man and a woman. I don't understand it. If you understand it, so people really don't have so much control about where they find love. As long as people are traveling around or moving around and getting exposure, they can find love else anywhere. China, Cameroon, Kenya, South Africa, Brazil, anywhere. And it's just nature. Sometimes or go for they go so used to the idea of having their lineage continue with the same blood. Can you maintain no blood? I don't want to corrupt this blood. I don't want to another blood. So if then some other stereotypes they follow. Maybe marriage, kewa, lose or all kinds of things. So I draw straightforward. It must not drama. It must not them. On Kepolonyeme or Mayor. And then we'll go a lot of people who make good stories. You know, for one, I have an uncle who has been married for 41 years. He married a European. They are still together, very, very close. They talk every day. When I'm with him in Nigeria, so and we go stories. And one thing got the other way. That's so much. So okay, I kind of now. So I got pankata today. Only open abia ikwu game experience again. Then I'm on way five guy mota from Ife na Kola. Then on one case we feel na ndị nke na work better than ndị nke why you hear well kaja easier because sometimes what makes people find it easier to blend is that there are similarities in their culture or their exposure or maybe they are flexible enough to blend into each other's culture and lifestyle. So because nala anyị microphone ka ịbata wee tinye ọnụ n'ife anyị na-ekwu gwakwana anyị ife iche na ife anụ anyị na-ekwu ka anyị wee malụ ka anyị ga-esi wee kpa nkata ka anyị wee mụta ife na ya. Let's move on. Should we start? Okay, let's start with our own moderators. Nelo, ndewo, kekime.
Adimma Chuka, Kedu, Priscilla, hi, Kedu, Casey, Sir Chris, Nando Manine, Biarata, Ige, Haineku, Aine Kenunu, Ndewonu. Okay, Chuka, it is so excited, with this topic, and I have to ask, Munyegi or Munyegi to be or Bonye be.
I'm excited about every topic. Let me tell you why I'm excited about this topic. This topic is one of those topics that people don't like talking about. I don't know why people avoid it, but people don't like talking about it. There's somebody here. I just noticed someone here. He is married to an Igbo woman, and I'm excited to see him here because I remember the first time we exchanged messages on the DM. It was because of how much he loves the Igbo culture. I didn't know he was married to an Igbo woman then, but he was just excited about Igbo culture so much. He used to always post videos about Oja and Ogene and all that. I was like, what did make this man like Igbo music like this? What did make him come relate with Igbo music like this? Until I realized, okay, he's an in-law. No wonder. That's what inter-tribal marriage or interracial marriage can do to you. It opens up your exposure, your appreciation of other cultures beyond your own culture. And that's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. Jimmy, I will greet you in Igbo. If you like, you can ask for the mic, you can request the mic and come in and join us in the conversation. That would be lovely to have you. It's so nice to have you already here. All right, Nelo. So, can he feel about intertribal and interracial marriage? What do you feel about it?
Okay, Afugom Ijigo style is Zara Jojon, but it's fine. We'll keep it moving.
I'm going to do already. There's nothing. See, if he didn't dare, he didn't dare. Simple.
Oh,
if he did, you will know that he did.
On political answer. On political answer. Joya, yes or no? Say it depends.
Guess you about all depend.
It's like, do you understand that? Because I want to come.
Yeah, you chose how you asked your question. I chose how I answered the question. Is it? Are we not communicating?
I am gonna get within culture from the answer. No problem.
You want me to answer the one I answer now? That you will go and hold it against me in the future? No way.
Are you not an Odogo?
I hear that when you here. We're not swearing here. Leave me alone. Do you have friends that are married to non-Igbos?
Yeah, funny enough, my best friend here, she's Ghanaian and she's married to an Igbo guy. Yes, so
now you set them up, Abby.
No be me. I even came here and I met them, and yeah.
That's beautiful.
So it's, at the end of the day, like you said, kiss iweku. The thing about love, you can't help it, you can't help who you fall in love with ultimately. So, and the man sees it because I feel like ultimately a lot of us know when you're by because of the culture, and it makes things easier, because you both have the same worldview. But if you are gazing into the world and you get to mix up with different people, I'll a total disservice unto yourself to only lock yourself in, and see no buronye begi imandu. As in, it will be a total disservice to yourself. So yes, ultimately, the goal gabu, ilo onye Guinean so fast. So because, to be fair, it makes a lot of things easier. But at the end of the day, love and understanding conquers everything. So onye fu onye miracle bia, onye na-emeko bidiama, regardless. I mean, carry go, So again, like my friend, she's one of the most beautiful people, I've ever come across. She's so kind. So dear guys, this is no man because no buronye onye beha, I mean, they do have some. It's not, but there's no marriage that even in Iloanya beg itself. There's no marriage that is smooth sailing and everything. Bruna, the issues are very from here. It will come from another place. So, yeah, it's an interesting conversation, especially this week. Has been filled with so many intertribal,
Boom,
marriage
boom, boom.
celebration. Ụmụaka Igbo ma ndị na-eje alụ bilonia na mba ọzọ ma ndị bilonia na-ejekwa alụ ndị mba ọzọ. I mean, well, speaking from a woman's perspective, I ga-achọkwa ka ndị bilonia nụ anyị, but ebe ọfa si na ndị ọzọ ka fa chọzie elu, nsogbu adịrọ.
Una no gree be second wife and third wife now. So
I got that.
Maybe this is actually like somebody joked about it, that this is actually a solution to all these our disunity and bigotry. I don't know, but actually, I have this notion that if we didn't intermarry as much as we have intermarried as Nigerians, by now we probably would have had another war. Yes. Because there are many decisions.
Expand. Not very interesting. Expand, yeah. This is very.
There are many decisions there are many decisions that a man cannot make without his wife. Never. He has to consult his wife. And if his wife stands against it and keeps standing against it and keep praying against it, keep shouting against it, most likely he's going to think twice. He's going to take it delicately, And most great men listen to their wife. Most powerful men listen to their wives. And a lot of the powerful men in Nigeria married outside their tribe. Check it. Obasanjo married Stella from Delta State. What's his name? Atiku married his first wife. I think it was the first wife. Yeah, from Igbo land, Onitsha. You can keep going and you keep seeing new ones. You keep discovering.
Are you sure? Actually, I'm not Titi first wife. Atiku.
Okay, sorry, Titi is the first, but he married from Igbo land. What's his name? Even our own Peter Obi said married from Akwa Ibom. Like a lot of people, a lot of great men in Nigeria, a lot of powerful men in Nigeria married outside their tribe, and they will definitely consider their in-laws when they're making decisions. Whether it is
Chika,
business.
I don't know. I kind of disagree. I think it's
all right.
Very idealistic because I know there was one time one story was trending that before the war, Gowon flew his girlfriend out. So
he waited for 10 days.
Yeah, but he didn't stop him. He didn't say, "Oh,
it was just go on." It was just go on. It was just go on. The point is that the fact that one man, I mean, in my opinion, I don't want to insult him, but if you had a lover and you attacked her family like that, something is not right with your love, But I believe that people have sentiments about these things. There's some decisions you want to make. You're like, I make no cause trouble, I beg. My family did here. My daughter is married to somebody, even Tinubu's son. Even Tinubu himself married a non-Yoruba. So sometimes if it's not your wife that comes from there, your son is married to someone there, or your daughter is married to someone there. So you have to think about that. Because it's not like those days. Now, families have spread so much. So you know this person, their brother, sister, uncle, auntie, cousins, second cousins. So before you know it, you have counted like 18 people from their family. And you're thinking about those. Are you going to fly all of them out of the country? Then the other people are going to think about the same people. So I think that it weighs into how we make decisions regarding peace, regarding business, regarding politics, and other things. I believe that personally. I'm not saying that it's a panacea to conflict, but it helps. This is the reason why, even in the olden days, even till now, a lot of royal families had to form a marriage between themselves to make sure that they maintain peace between their kingdoms. A lot of royal families did that for many years, even till recently, they still do that. Not just for peace, but for transactional relationship, business, all kinds of things. But peace is one of the things that they consider. If there is so much wahala and they want to broker some kind of peace, it's okay. The condition is that my son will take your daughter. And once that happens, it becomes difficult to go to war against them. So yeah, that's how powerful marriage can be. Not all marriages are about love.
All right. While I get what you're saying, especially then, if you read history of some much more stronger civilizations, you would see this particular thing in just political marriages, right? Happening intentionally across globe. These men, most of these guys that are sponsoring this Igbophobia, most of them, like I'm 70%, and this is me being very conservative because so far it's been almost 90, but let's say 70% actually do have Igbo relatives, Igbo wives, or Igbo mothers. And this, why I'm saying this is it is very scary, right? Why we encourage for me, I feel like intertribal and interracial marriages to a very large extent would always put love first, right? Because you have to genuinely love this person beyond reason.
Yes.
For you to go above and beyond. I'm not saying there are not crazy instances where it was just convenient, or I don't know, for reasons best known to the couple, but I'm saying most of the time it's usually a case of very strong love. Because when I think of leaving my area like this, the thing I'm working see my brother. Wait, so Mlawa village now. The village may change it to another location. And then every Christmas. You go be your dim was because the kind you understand?
Yes.
Meanwhile, baby keloro. I know where I was see kind of Christmas. Every October, I like this in the Gama here. I like Christmas. Can you tell here now before it got very expensive. Always some more written things. You understand?
Yeah.
It very. Then you would say na nagi the maybe two local governments apart. Or the each and how with different states. You understand?
Or different countries.
Different states.
Let me ask you. Are you saying that? Because I'm getting something from what you're saying, and that sounds interesting. Are you saying that for the women it's even more difficult than for the men because they have to go with their husband to their own place?
Exactly. It is very, very difficult for women. Ask them. Nelo is here, she will tell you.
Wait, so is Nelo married to a non-Igbo?
She's married to an Igbo guy.
Okay.
Married to an Igbo.
Okay.
Like, in fact, leaving your state to another state.
But I agree. I understand what Priscilla is saying. It's actually much more difficult, for
a woman.
For woman, yes, outside, because it's just a total new culture. And then if you're lucky and you're married into a family that accepts you, fine. But if not, you have to bend over backwards and everything. And the man now has to be very assertive, and really be.
That's very, very key.
I agree. My MNG saying now that what she's saying is actually very correct. But now, I have my own personal theory when it comes to intertribal, interracial marriages. More personally, I believe now for every interracial marriage to work, or for every interracial marriage to work, there has to be a commonality within those two different cultures. There has to be something that binds them together, that brings them together, or very relative in a sense. And I have a couple of my friends here, more even from my own personal experience, they're not here, that are married to Canadians, more in the and some of them are Igbo, some from different other tribes in Nigeria. And what I find interesting, almost 100% or 99%, what I find very interesting, and I see it in every single marriage that is interracial, but now one person has to sacrifice their cultural experience to be able to get fully immersed in the marriage for that marriage to work. Now, every marriage in Nigeria, you can easily point and tell who sacrificed. Easily, every single marriage in Nigeria. Because
why does it have to be
their life-
one-sided?
It has to be because the cultures, the very distinct. I did not look at two opposite sides. Cultures, they're very similar. Then, that sacrifice maybe might not really be needed. They can easily meet in the middle. But the cultures, they're not very different. They know can the probability of, an Indian person, e.g., on your child. Very separate cultures. For that to work, one person has to sacrifice. The same is applicable to our African culture. In almost every instance, you see the same pattern and the same trend. Either the guy has to sacrifice. If we see he doesn't really hang out with his guys a lot, he doesn't, or didn't know he's mostly, when they money here, how they don't cook Nigerian food. The wife has seen like the way the things smell, the stockfish and can and can. Like it's like they have to give up that part of their life. They now eat mostly Western food just to be able to make it work. And vice versa, you see the other way. If you more in the they're fully immersed in the Nigerian culture. They eat the Nigerian cultural foods and everything. They dress the same. So if you know, one person has to make that shift for it to work. And also one pattern I've always noticed and I've seen, and it seems to be very, very common in most interracial marriages. So I completely understand that sacrifice has to be there from one angle, wherever it's coming from. But it has
Why
to
are
be
saying
there.
this? Why are saying this? I'm trying to imagine the way we are going to blend with Chinko people.
Oh, hey. But it's possible.
I have seen
Nigeria.
I have seen a couple. Yeah, I've seen a couple of them. I don't know how they do it, but I feel like the Chinese are way different
one
from
popular YouTuber he's married to one of these Asian woman, and again, if I case people, it plays into the whole thing because the house is the more towards the woman's culture, even though occasionally maybe one or two things, but the woman's culture is kind of more dominant, you can tell.
And just as I was saying earlier, right? I forgot examples like this to buttress in her case in the Neku. When one woman for this woman, in fact, in she was the whole full hijab package. Do you understand? So munia no guy in the waiting area. So muna mommy Neku, so munia na Igbo. The woman no guy, a mom si wanya na get a chahini nim Neku. So when kucha, the woman elemanya say bia, it won't be sent. Masi holo. Hey, I hem beleba. Mele yanya si iwata hem de kuna phone. Yasi yes on the touch him no one you won't be so kwa. Masi this woman as in I'm no ku kumbaha. As in all those things people do when they assume people are not their culture and all that very dirty behavior. But before you know, muna wanya akpawan kataya gwam si oloronye because ebe here mere webe Kano. So I'm so onye Kano, and for 15 years then, or for a very long time. Not Alakwa East. Mana if who this woman, the woman has absorbed the full culture of the North, right? I did not see one single drop of Igbo until she opened her mouth to Madam Igbo. So yes, there has to be some absorption for success to happen in that. And you see that across board. But most times, except in places with very, very strong cultures that are tied to religion, most times, if it's not tied to religion, it's usually the women that the children will lean towards. Most times, no here and no former. It's usually the women's culture that. But then again, intertribal, like Casey said, and I completely agree. Being a woman, coming from a woman's perspective, it will take some serious Odogu silencer for you to leave your place. Game boss. I'm not saying that we don't have in the Kenalu for anything, no. You understand? Monday border plane from UK, Bema Nigeria, Maka 11,000. But I'm saying that most of the time, 80%, 90% of the time, it has to be stronger for you to, close your mind and say, okay, or the kaonya kam gesu. And there's even that period of, period of mourning/changes, where if it's not managed properly, it can change to resentment. If that initial period where she's coming into the house is not managed properly, it can turn to some serious resentment. And if the marriage finds a way to succeed all through that period, and the woman chooses to stay no matter what, because sometimes some of these girls, some of these situations, sometimes they bond cable. Some ladies are not smart, will not manage the relationship very well. They will not bond the cable so bad that they are stuck. They don't know what to do again. It's either they day here or they did not day here. You understand that kind of thing. So then it might turn to some bitterness. I've seen it so many times. It hurts.
I agree.
But yes,
I agree with you.
Beautiful. That type of marriage, awesome. But what, like Casey said, if there's no awareness, all this love is all that matters. They always find out the hard way. Love is not all that matters. Before you know, love can just switch to something else. But yes, Casey and Chuka, it is very important that there's some, understanding between the two of them, more or less.
I agree.
Okay.
I think also that there's something called connection. This term was not used maybe 40, 50 years ago, but people now use it a lot. We have chemistry, we have connection. Chemistry was the one that came before connection. Now, sometimes you meet someone, I don't know if it happens to anybody here or it has happened to anybody here. You meet someone, the person is not even related to your tribe at all, but you just have some kind of what you may call spiritual connection. You just have some kind of connection. You get each other easily. You just know what the other person wants somehow or needs, and you know how to meet it. You know when the person is not happy, you know how to approach it. When the person needs excitement, you just get each other so easily. When that happens, I think it drives the blending easier. I know a particular couple. They are popular. You guys might know them, but I won't mention their names. I knew they are related to my mom. The man is from Imo State. He married from America, an African-American woman. As of the 90s, I remember very well, she used to come to Nigeria with the husband a lot of times, visiting the home. And she was so immersed into the culture of her husband's place, so much that not only that she speaks Igbo very well, she sings Igbo songs, not Igbo songs that you and I sing all the time. No, I'm talking about the Igbo songs in Dimona or Avu. Avu, that is the one they sing in the village. They used to dance to. And not just that, she dances the traditional Owerri dance. In fact, sometimes she leads the dancers. That's how immersed she became. And she does it effortlessly and so happily. And I tried to understand it when I heard this gist until I saw her. I was like, wow, how is that even possible? Like, within a short time, somebody who never lived in Nigeria, come to Nigeria from time to time, and suddenly the person knows so much about the culture that she can actually be part of it. You won't even notice because she's black. In fact, the day I met her, about 3 years ago, I was saying to myself, so this is the woman they are talking about. Wow, you won't even know. Although she doesn't look exactly like a Nigerian, but you wouldn't know she's an African American. You wouldn't think about that because she's so African now. And in recent times, I've heard from people, because I'm one of those people who like to relate with non-Igbos, non-Nigerians, non-Africans. I like to relate with people from different parts of the world. And I have noticed something about women who come from certain places, especially America and some African countries, especially America, African-American women. They always have this thing about my roots. I want to connect to my roots. I want to find out if my root is Igbo. I believe my root is Igbo because of this and this and that. And it makes them want to marry an Igbo man or connect to an Igbo man or something like that. So for those kind of people, they don't even waste time to immerse themselves in the culture. And I believe that's what happened to this woman. She felt she has connected to her roots. I believe that. I'm not sure. I didn't confirm that. But this is just what I thought I might add to what you guys are saying. Because Igbo, if you are from if you're from mixed marriage, like it's a tribal marriage, maybe your parents, your father is Igbo, your mother is from somewhere else, or your mother is Igbo and your father is from somewhere else, I think you have a very beautiful, balanced perspective to what we're talking about. Please feel free to request a mic and come and give us your story, or just give us something that can spice up this conversation. Once again, this is the MONI Show, Makodim Mandibo. This conversation is going to take a different, it's going to expand very soon, because we will open up the mic to the people in the audience. So feel free to request a mic, and then we'll take it from there. Sir Chris. Yeah.
Chuka, actually, I want to try add before we move way to the next speaker.
Yeah.
Another interesting take I wanted to just get from, some people here that have been part of that experience, but, they not go now in a position, but actually, somebody now brought up their tribe. And then they had some pushbacks from their parents, based on one or two reasons, because those perspectives now they are not important. Came know from maybe from a generational context, how it was for your parents or what they faced or the reasons for their own decisions. Sinamba, you might know this person from here or this person from here. So on your what experiences from that, please feel free to share, because that would be an interesting take too.
Yes, I agree with you. If you wanted to marry, let me be blunt about it. If you wanted to marry a non-Igbo or a non-Nigerian, and somehow your parents refused, and eventually you ended up getting married to another person who is now the love of your life, it's okay. But we would like to hear your story. I think we can learn something from that. I believe that our generation and the generation before or just before us have somehow broken some of the glass ceilings, and the next generation, those ones, they won't even break the ceiling. They just remove it, unscrew everything, remove it, and just throw it away. That's why I fear them.
Not a personal story though. Not a personal story, but I kind of I'm this person, Ogachorino, Igbo, Ochabino Yoruba, but Obrona Kusiri, I know the guy, but I just, Kawachali out a few things and all of that. But Omekwa insists no Ganoya, and finally the family they assented, because Yani school. So, but something happened. I think the guy Biane moved, funny, cheating and all of that. And so, based on the fact that Ndibuna want to go, all those kind of things. She now called it off, because she was like, all men insist now lawyer with the whole thing that she found out, because she found out that the guy was, cheating and all of that. Don't know Geji way cool, and all those things. So she was like, what, she's not going ahead. And this is someone Yanya throughout, university, out of university. But thankfully now she's married now, and she's married to an Igbo guy, and this time I always used to yab, I'll be like, so if you compare the two now, and then she'll be like, Nelo, nothing like, and blah blah blah. But yeah, just a personal, not personal anyways, but as in not personalized, not me, but someone who's close to me.
All right.
For some reason, I grew up in Lagos, but I don't know. I just never. I think my very first boyfriend, Bonye Yoruba, So I went to his place. Then his mom had this shop. I got also him kneel down and greet my mom. Kneel down. Okay, the mom's son wasn't even a problem. His friends, his brother's sister. Him no, Nangani kneel down neck and Simba. This one I carry go.
You get the knee pad.
And that was it. Like I get the mom was not bad, but your friend's elder sister. Kneel down neck and Simba. After that, to say, you know what? Come baby him because let me stick to what I know. But anyways, it's all good.
Yeah. I this reminds me of a particular event I went for. An Igbo guy was getting married to a Yoruba girl, and the triad was held in Ibadan. So we all went there from Lagos. Honestly, that was my first experience of the Yoruba traditional wedding, and it was exciting. We were laughing all through because we kept frustrated. We kept going down every time. And then our friend warned us, said, please, oh guys, change all your money to mint, 10 naira, 20 naira. I said, that one are forehand. I will go for that one are forehand. Which kind of thing be that? Which kind of 10 naira? He said, I'm warning you now. Go and get enough of small denominations because you go drop off a tire for this thing. My wife has already told me, so we did that. So anytime you come and prostrate and they pray and pray and pray, after praying, you go and put some money somewhere and then stand up again and the thing continues. There was one particular person who was the moderator. It was interesting. It was different. It was interesting to see something different from what I'm used to. And that was quite exciting because at the end of the day, all the monies we went with there to the event, all the small denominations, everything finished. Because I can't remember how many times we had to give that money, but I couldn't believe it. I was just laughing. We were all laughing about it. So it was so much fun. And that opened my eyes to realize that somehow everybody really have a nice culture. Everybody has something beautiful about their culture. And if you're getting married to someone from another culture and you focus on the good things, I think it becomes easier to appreciate the person and where they come from. You know, sometimes it's just about what you're looking for, what you're looking at, or what you're expecting, and how you also filter the things you've been told. Of course, there are challenges. Yeah, let's move this mic to the people in the audience, starting with Sir Chris. Sir Chris, tell us what you think about intertribal or interracial marriage.
Good evening, Chuka, Nekelegi, Anale.
Arimau.
Okay. Wondering why Priscilla Birikwe and Mazi Casey Nando's Nokwebam Nelo Nekelegi Jimmy, my brother, welcome in-law. I will rather speak English because Jimmy is here and other ones that can't understand Igbo language. I would have loved to speak in Igbo language because on automoto no be is Igbo. Yeah, I've listened carefully, and you are all right, from every dimension. One thing I have to say is this: be it a man or a woman, if you have to undergo a lot, to be able to move to another culture to marry. It shows integrity, it shows capacity, because you have to, relinquish a lot to be able to confront another culture, and also live with it, maybe for the rest of your life or just for some time, First of all, I think I moved to Lagos to stay with my father at the age of 11. So even if I calculate everything, I've not lived more than 15 years in Alibo, maybe coupled with the time I visit and go back. And then I came to Germany at the age of 22 or so. That was 1983. And I met my wife here. She's a German, and we have a son. My son is 33 years old now, and he's a lawyer. His name is Uchenna. He gladdens my heart every time. A very well-performing boy. One of the things I love him do is that he remembers where he comes from, and that was what I made sure that I never miss. Even though I'm not living with the mother anymore, I'm married to an Igbo person from Mbano. I'm from Owerri district myself. Presently, we also have two children: a daughter that is 23 years old, and a son that is 12 years old. My daughter is also involved with a Ghanaian also. So it makes my family very, in a brighter cultural perspective, very open. And the other way around also, I have another story. My sister is also married to Yoruba man, and they have two children. So in my family, we have a lot of intermarriage relationships. So I've known that for a long time, I remember when I came here as a young man, and my intention was just to study and go back, and it's not to marry a woman here or whatever. But I met my wife, and we connected, and one fun. My former wife, sorry. My wife now is not happy that I said I met my wife. So now when we had to go for the introduction to the parents, because we're living in West Germany, and that is the west part of Germany, that's in Münster, and the parents lived in northern Germany near Hamburg. So we have to drive to Hamburg. It's called Lübeck, actually. It's about 30 minutes away from Hamburg. She told me earlier, look, with my mom, I don't have problem. With my dad, it's going to be a problem. I said, okay, let's go. And when we got there, it happened that it was even the man that received me the most, took me, we drove around the place, we were talking. I was speaking German that time, but not too fluently, but we could understand each other. He never spoke English, actually. And it went very well. And then she was even the one that proposed, and we got married, actually. And one thing that happened on the day of the marriage was this. My father and my younger brother was to come from Nigeria, and their flight delayed somehow. I was expecting that they come, and they weren't coming, so I was so sad. And then I came from another part of Germany, so I had only 5 friends there, and these are people I just got to know in Germany. They are not just family members. I was the only person there with those friends, and then about almost 100 white people, and they were coming to ask me, you are not laughing, are you sad or what? But I was sad because it was a very important thing in my life, and nobody from my family there. I was expecting my dad, and he has not arrived, and then we were in the church, a very small church, and then I sent a friend to pick my father from Hamburg. And when they came in the middle of the marriage, and I turned back and looked at my father coming, I started crying. And he cried also. I got so emotional. But anyhow, it was actually good. The lady helped me a lot through my studies. She insisted that I keep on studying, and it went very well. But then there was also a problem. The problem is the blending the culture also, because you find out that every other thing you do, you must have to explain yourself. For my own part, it wasn't too difficult, because while in Lagos, I worked with Leventis Motors. There were a lot of Germans there at that time, and I got to know them actually. And when I came here to study, it wasn't easy. But from her own part, she has to get to absorb every cultural thing. My people calling every time. My people expecting that I have to take care of them. I am the firstborn of my mother, and I have other siblings who I have to take care of. I was practically a deputy parent anyway. And so that didn't get on very well. And what actually, I don't want to hold the mic too much on this issue before I go over to my sister. What actually broke up the marriage was this, that it was in 1993 when we both got scholarship for my younger brother. He is also here. He has 2 doctorate degrees now. He came with a scholarship. We struggled and got this scholarship. He was studying at the University of Ibadan at that time. And when he came here, when he was to come, we did everything. But just a week before he was supposed to come, my former wife came to me and said, no, I don't want it anymore. I don't like this. And everything goes to your family. You have to look after your family here. Your family is here. I don't want to do it anymore. And I was really shocked. I said, but we've almost finished the whole thing. he's gotten his visa. We just need to pay his ticket. He's not even going to live with us. He's going to live in the university. We were in Berlin. He was going to go to Heidelberg to study. So what is the problem? And it went on and went on. And then I thought it was a joke, actually. Then I wanted to go to take money from my account because I had no account. We have just a family account. It was on her name. She just gave me power of attorney to be operating the account. And as a young man at that time, I was just focused on love, whatever, I never even bothered, Then she went and blocked my name in the account. And so when I went there to take money, I worked, I was earning salary also, to take money from the ATM. My card went in, pluck, and I was surprised. But my wife earns very well. We have no debt. I work. I know how much we have in account. Why must it happen? So I went into the bank and they told me, go and meet your wife. I went home and she told me, yes, I did it. It was that day I went to the hospital because at the hospital where I work, they can give you a room where you can stay. So they gave me a room and I moved out of the house. She never believed it. It was even funny. She was the person that went to receive my brother. We bought a house together. I left the house for her, and she went to receive my brother. My brother stayed even 3 weeks there before he went to school. And so she kept on coming to me and saying, okay, I didn't mean it that way. I'm sorry. Maybe I should give you some time to calm down. And she actually waited for 3 years. And when I have to move from Berlin to Munich, that was when she realized that I wasn't going to do it anymore. The reason why I did that was this. I actually have to look at where I'm coming from. I took time, to think over it. Because I, for a person, I don't take a decision when I'm annoyed, because if you're annoyed and take a decision, it's not a rightful decision. I wait until I cool down, then I take a decision. And I thought over it. I said, okay, even though I have a younger one here now, there are other ones behind me. So if I have to be with her, I will always have to go and beg every time, and it will be trouble every time. So I have a son, we can co-parent, I take care of my son, and that was what I did. And I take him to Nigeria. He's engrossed in Igbo culture. It's not a problem. So that was actually the reason, And then there come one thing again, there is something we say, akuruyo, and that is when you are, away from your country or your homeland, you also have to bring the wealth towards home. And that was what made me to go back to Nigeria to marry. And that was the best decision I ever took, because when my wife came, I saw stability. I never bothered about Nigeria or Igbo culture anymore. I just concentrated on my son, take him to Nigeria and come back. I said, I didn't even bother. But my wife brought stability. I started investing in Nigeria, building house, and other things. I never thought about that before. My major thing was, take care of my younger ones, which I did. The other one came also here and won an American green card lottery and went to New York. He's in New York now. So the moment I stabilized that, then I went back to Nigeria to marry, and it brought more stability into my life. I see the difference. The difference is this: I must not explain every move I have to make. We eat the same food. There are some time when I'm outside and I'm thinking about something. I come back home and my wife said, "This is what I'm thinking." Also, it matches. There is the chemistry there now. It becomes easier, to navigate in the relationship, and we also come from the same cultural background, so there is this respect between two of us, and that is actually what the situation at the moment with me. Do you want to ask questions, Chuka, or should I go ahead?
Okay. Hold your breath. Hold your breath. We will bring some questions to you. If you can round up for now, then we'll bring some questions to you as we go.
I wanted to go over to my sister's case, but I make it brief. Okay. Because my father is late, so I happen, and my two elder brothers are also late, so I unwillingly the head of the family at the moment.
Unwillingly.
Yeah. I never wanted, I didn't want it at all. So, but death had made it so. Now everything is piled up on me. Even today, yesterday, I get calls every time. And one of my workers, I had to fire him yesterday. I terminated his appointment, but that is another story. That's nothing to do with this one now. So I have to look for other people there to manage my business there. And, when my sister met her husband, she waited until I have to come back home, and she told me I have a man. But when they came to pick me from the airport, I saw that her body is not changed, and coming from the medical background, I saw that she was pregnant already, but I kept quiet. And now she introduced the man, this is my husband to be, and whatever. I said, okay, the die is cast. You are pregnant already. What am I going to do? So I grew up in Lagos in the Yoruba culture. I speak Yoruba language. So most of my friends, my best friend is even a Yoruba man. We came to Germany together in the same year. So I say it's not a problem, but there is one thing you also have to understand. Every culture has its own good sides, also bad sides. If they say where issues are not clarified, there is always misunderstanding. So I have to tell you now, first of all, the possibility that he will marry another woman on top of you is there. So this has to be, you have to understand it first. Or he has a child somewhere else. And she said, no, he said he will not do it. And he has no child anywhere. I said, okay, good. They married, have 2 children now. But what happened was this, he got sick. He's late now, actually. He got sick. The family couldn't handle everything. I was the person that did everything, treating him, burying him, and everything. So it's not that he has problem with the family, but they weren't so financially stable like that to do that. So then suddenly a girl came and said that he was her father. So, and that exactly concludes that what I told her earlier. But let me hear the mic now so that other people can speak. If you have a question, you can ask me then. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. This story is actually very interesting. I mean, wow. Ojurumonu. It sounds like those stories you hear, from people about there's this particular man or this particular woman in Europe, and this happened or that happened. This one is firsthand now. This one is not somebody said and somebody told the other person. and there's a lot to learn from that. But we'll be able to bring some questions to you to respond to. But let's move the mic to Jimmy. Jimmy, my brother, how you doing now? Kedu? Let me speak it like you people say it. Kedu, non-Igbos. You're welcome. What's your story?
Yes. Oh boy, I don't even know where to start.
Start. What made you marry an
Maybe.
Igbo woman? Let me ask you
All right.
the question.
All right.
That will help
All
you.
right.
Sorry, Jimmy. Before you go, I have to drop and come up again because I'm seeing Jimmy and Nelo just as a listener, not as a speaker. Probably I have to drop and come back and request for the mic again, Chuka. Okay.
It's all right. It's all right, sir.
Okay.
No problem. Okay, Jimmy, go ahead, please. Now, sir.
My love for Ogene music is just outstanding, and honestly speaking, and I came across the guy a couple of years ago after I married my wife. But there's a particular one he did that struck my heart, and here it is. It's just about 40 something seconds before I proceed with my submission. You guys need to see the video. The way they actually moving backward with the rhythm is mind blowing. And man, I love the way he infused the Yoruba into the Ogene music. It was breathtaking. And man, wow. Okay. That is on one side. By the way, anytime I join Igbo spaces like this, if I don't understand what you guys are saying, my wife just interprets. She just does the interpretation for me. I just laugh and smile sometimes. So from day one, I was taught not to have anything to do with the Igbo people. You know, it was a thing, the Yoruba culture infused into their, offsprings, their kids. Igbo people are bad people. They are cannibals. They eat people. Those are the lectures we got back then. And even though I had Igbo friends, my first best friends was Ogechukwu Asogwa. I still remember that name clearly. And it was in a boarding house, and I couldn't even tell my mom that my best friend is an Igbo guy, right? So, unfortunately, Ugo stopped coming to school. I have no idea what happened up till now. But I realized when I got to secondary school and university, the beginning I studied in UK, and it was a different thing entirely for them, because at that point in time they knew that they've sent their son out of the country to get educated. This was 2001, and at that point in time the narrative changed. They stopped telling me don't marry an Igbo woman. They just turned it into don't marry a light-skinned woman, because it was considered that most light-skinned women are, Igbo people. So don't marry a light-skinned woman. Don't marry a light-skinned woman. And eventually, when I, got married about 9-10 years ago, happens to be an Igbo woman, and they didn't still like it, but I had no choice. I told them, this is me. I'm going all out. And that was it. So I got to meet, my in-laws, and it was a ball game entirely different from the Yoruba culture, because my brother got married. My younger brother is late now. He got married before me, and he married a Yoruba lady, and I knew how the culture usually operates. But this is quite different. Um, I went to the market to look for Ishiagu. Oh my goodness. There was a war. I was looking for Ishiagu around the market, looking because I needed to buy some for the father, the uncles, and everything. I needed to buy George for the mother. I needed to buy. Man, it was a beautiful thing, and um, eventually we got married. We left. We just left the country. Fast forward to this last election. Um, my dad is an APC man, a Yoruba man, typical Yoruba man. My family were all APC. I wasn't really paying attention to politics, but yeah, 100% APC. So when the whole thing happened, and I've been hearing about Peter Obi, I've been reading about him, I've been watching documentaries about him, and I got to realize, look, this is what we need. It's not a matter of tribe to me. It was a matter of what we need as a nation moving forward. The person that can get the job done. Coincidentally, happens to be an Igbo man. I don't care. I went for that. So then I started showing my support. Before I knew what was happening, family friends were telling my dad what was happening, and started sending screenshots of my tweet. They were sending it to him, and he was warning me, sending me messages and everything. There was a particular tweet I made. I still remember that tweet clearly. I said, the very day I turn my back on Bitobi, or I collect money to betray Bitobi, they should drag my father, my mother, my generation. They screenshotted it and they sent it to my dad. So he called me on the phone, and he was like, you, this boy, you don't listen to me. I just lost a son. I don't want to lose another son. I'm telling you, stop. These guys are dangerous. They are this, they are that. And I cut him off that day. That was the day we had a very terrible misunderstanding. And I told him, I said, look, don't do this. It's not going to end well. They keep sending you the screenshots. You're not on Twitter. They keep sending it to you. They want you and I to have a misunderstanding. Then it went off. It was like, these people are bad people. They are terrible people. These people, they are this, they are that. It went on for like 10-minute monologue. So I kept quiet. I was listening to him. When he finished, it was such an heartbreaking moment for me. And I told him, I said, do you realize your grandchildren have Igbo blood in them? He totally skipped his mind. He totally forgot, right? And he forgot he had a daughter-in-law that is Igbo. He skipped his mind, and those terrible things he said, he couldn't take them back, and he just muted. He kept quiet for a very long time. And I told him, I said, look, I'm a grown-ass man. You can advise me on things to do, but don't tell me not to do this, not to do that. This is the path I've chosen. It was like, these guys have been doing this thing since he was born. This is how it's going to be. I said, they've been doing it, and it's been like that. Doesn't mean it's right. I'm standing on my ground, and that's what's going to happen. I'm supporting this man. I don't care what it is. Until I went to the courthouse in Chicago here and brought Tinubu's drug case. Oh my goodness. It was another fight entirely. And this time around, he was just ranting on me and everything. I told him, I said, you know what? I don't have time for this. And he said, if I don't stop, he's going to disown me. I said, well, I'll make it easy for you. I'm going to block you now. And I hope you don't send me a message about this anymore. And I did. I blocked him, not on even Twitter, on WhatsApp, all his numbers. I blocked him. It's over a year now. Yeah, I think it's over a year I actually heard his voice. And when the Tinubu entered, it was a disaster. I heard they've been trying to reach out to me to let me know I was right all along. I'm not ready for that. It's too late for that. Then the bigotry went on social media. And I decided to start the Yoruba Runu space. And the whole point of that was just to let people know that I know my brothers and sisters did a lot of damages during this last election, but it's not going to stop us from continuing our relationship and bonding the way we've been. Okay? So, God bless her. She's here with me. Auntie Madonna. There was a particular, I think it was the third Yoruba Rono space I did. She listened to that space, and I reminded people how we used to come together, how strong we were as a tribe, in our different, zones in Nigeria. We came together, very strong. A lot of things, joined us together. The football and everything joined us together. And I told people, I was telling off the Yoruba people on the space that very day. Madonna was listening to me. She was listening to my voices. Sorry, other people voices and myself inclusive. So after that space, I had another version the next week, and she requested for the mic. I was wondering what she wanted to say, and that was the first time I actually cried on the space. And she said, "Jimmy, you don't know what you're doing here. That after the election, that she was disenfranchised. She was bullied and everything. She called her daughters and told them they should never bring a Yoruba person home for her to pray, that she doesn't want them to marry any Yoruba person." And guess what? I think one of them, or if not both of them, actually had a Yoruba man in mind that they actually want to get married. So the girl was shattered. Okay. But after hearing the Yoruba Ronu space I did, she came back on the space, she requested for the mic, and she made that testimony that she had to go back and speak to her daughter and told her daughter, you know what? Not all these people are the same. Bring that Yoruba boy. I will pray for the two of you. I will bring you two together. I will pray for you. If it's the right person you want to marry, bring him. I will pray for him. And she did. And that actually melted my heart. That actually encouraged me. And I cried that day, actually. I took a picture, I put it on the jumbo. I made a tweet out of it. And, of course, there was a lot of attack based on that. But it struck my heart that in as much as it was that little, I made an impact. I changed someone's perspective that not all Yoruba people are bigots. And not all Igbo people are your friends. And we need to hold on to that narrative. I embrace the culture. I embrace everything that has to do with it. In fact, recently, they sent me a letter from my son's school. And they asked, knowing we're Nigerians, they asked, how do you want your son's results to be written? And they gave us options, Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa. And my wife was, which one should we pick? I said, well, left alone to me, I'll pick Yoruba, but I want it to be a neutral thing. And she said, let's just go for English. I said, no, let's go for the Igbo one. It was like, you don't understand it. I said, no problem. We have iPhone now. I'll just take a picture of it, copy, put it on Google, get the translation of what they're saying. The whole point is we need to start educating the child to let him know that you're a mixed tribe. Your mom is Igbo, I'm Yoruba. I speak Yoruba to them, and sometimes the mom speaks Igbo to them in the house, which is good. They have Igbo names. Both of them. I've got two boys. They have Igbo names. So the moment I stood on my ground and I decided, you know what, this bigotry is just going to stop. And that was when I decided I'm going to support my Igbo brothers and sisters. Regardless, they've actually called me different names on Twitter, bastards. Some people actually say I'm not Yoruba, but I'm not bothered about all that. I know my roots, and my stance for the Igbo culture is not going to change anything. And to wrap up my submission, I love to always let people know the reason why we used to be very, very strong together at a point in time.
Let's all reach in culture. This is the land hosting all nations. This is the land so great, where milk and honey flow. This is the land of rain and sunshine. This is the land where food flourish. This is the land so blessed, where milk and honey flow. To our tribes and tongues may differ, yeah. But in full love, we are one. We are joined together in peace and unity. We are bound strong together. We are. Welcome to Nigeria 99. Welcome to Africa. Welcome to the American Welcome to Africa. Welcome to Nigeria 99. Welcome to the Ibatago no godama, ebe mano ame. Ibatago no godama, ebe Ibatago no godama, ebe miri ame. Ibatago no godama, ebe Akinika posori le wura, ekwa posori le lora. Ẹ máa gbádùn ara yìí, àdùnní yóò bẹ̀yìn. A kì í dàpọ̀ sórí ilẹ̀ wúrà, ẹ kú àpọ̀ sórí ilẹ̀ lọ́ra. Ẹ máa gbádùn ara yìí, àdùnní yóò bẹ̀yìn. Barka kuda zuwa kasar mu mai abinci, mai yawan al'adun gargajiya. Muna yi muku barka da zuwa ku huta lafiya. Barkan ku da zuwa kasar mu mai abinci, kasa mai al'adun gargajiya. Muna yi muku barka da zuwa ku huta lafiya.
That was the good old days. Welcome to Nigeria. That's Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa, Wazobia. Thank you guys for listening to my long monologue. God bless us all.
Thank you so much, Jimmy, man. This is so. I couldn't predict what was going to happen. I couldn't predict what we're going to say. I didn't see that music coming on. Almost when that music came up, like I love Ogene so much. Like I have a connection with Ogene. You don't even have any idea. So once that came up, I was dancing. I was like moving. I was just smiling. I was like, this guy don't kill me here. This guy don't finish me, because it was just the right mood for your introduction. Like you got it right, and your story is so beautiful. I can imagine how what your sons will get from this union that comes from understanding. So they're getting from both worlds. Let's say the way Jay-Z said, best of both worlds. That's absolutely amazing. And there's a lot to learn from this. Please hold your mic. We might throw some questions in your direction as we make progress. But thank you so much for your honest story, for your honest submission. This is so beautiful. It got me emotional at some point. I actually watched that video where you were crying in the car. I saw it. And I like how you thought about doing what you did. I don't know what you faced. I can't even imagine the challenges you faced. Till you told the story, I never had any idea what your family did with you or what you had with your family. I didn't even know your parents were APC. Like when you said that, my mouth were open, like, what? And this guy is doing all this. How is he going to come to the village? But that's the thing about conviction. When a man or a woman has conviction, nothing stops it. Nothing can get in the way, no matter what. And at some point, people begin to understand that you can't do anything about this. We have to respect it. But I have a question for you. Do you have an Igbo name? Has anybody ever given you an Igbo name?
A lot of people have been giving me names, and there was a particular tweet I made when the Yoruba Romans were tagging me as bastard, so I screenshotted it and I made a tweet out of it. I said, guys, they've given me an Igbo name, so sorry, they called me a bastard, so can you guys give me an Igbo name? So there were lots of people in the comment section just tossing me different names. But my Edo people gave me a Vuvwe, and yet when
So which one did you choose from the Igbo names that were given to you?
I honestly, none. I just go with whichever one people address me with. Okay. So yeah, I just go with that because I'm very open to.
We're going to try something here. Guys. You know Jimmy's personality. Can you give him a name based on his personality? an interesting, beautiful name based on his personality. Suggestions. Everybody with microphone. Suggestion. An Igbo name, a very interesting Igbo name that fits with personality.
It has to be Okechukwu because they're very stubborn people. Okechukwu.
Sir Chris, what name would you give him?
I'd rather give him a title.
Oh, okay. Good. Go ahead.
Nenye Anonte one.
Anonte means you know the hear one.
His wife will tell him, I'm sure of that. Okay, Adora, what name would you give Jimmy?
Did you hear me the first time? Chooks.
Okay, Chukwu. Okay, you were the one that said okay, Chukwu.
Yes, okay, Chukwu. Another hear one. That's why okay, Chukwu. Very stubborn people.
Casey.
Nah, the thing they tough. I'm torn between Ignatius and
no Igbo name, please. This guy.
Oh,
Ignatius might as well be an Igbo name.
Ignatius and Alphonsus. Yeah, but all those sisters.
Oh my God. Nilo.
Yeah, I'll probably give him Ebuka because Ebuka, they're always stubborn.
Everybody's looking for stubbornness. Priscilla.
He said something that fits his personality.
Priscilla, what name would you?
Hi.
Hello, Priscilla. Are you there?
Yeah.
What? Yes, I can hear you. We can hear you. Go ahead.
How did you guys all miss out on Chukwuemeka?
I had Emeka in mind, but since you brought it,
he's the perfect.
No, because I didn't say Emeka because my husband is Emeka.
Okay.
His attitude that there's no other name again. Let's just push this matter. Emeka, because even I see and I vote not Emeka.
Let's try as a Chikwelo and see what.
Okay. I was media. Well done.
Well done.
Adora.
The moment he requested for the mic, I knew he was coming to give me.
Yes, I specifically give me. I don't think my own is not a name. I think it's more like title. One net number. One net number. Jimmy, that is your title. One net number from me.
I love that,
my brother.
That's beautiful. I'm sure your wife will tell you what it means very clearly.
She's probably laughing. I'm at work. She's probably laughing in the house right now with the kids. And when I get home, the first thing she will do is call me that name and make fun of me and say, hey, something, one of Chicagoland.
One of the number is actually beautiful. It means a brother in another land. You know, like you said. Okay, Odogu, let me give Odogu a chance to give you a name. I would like to hear what Odogu has to say. Odogu, where are you? You requested the mic. All right.
I'm here. I have a special name for Jimmy. Jimmy, my guy. Jimmy. I think I'll call him Ogo Buchionye.
Beautiful.
Ogo Buchionye.
Beautiful. Tell him what it means.
So Ogo Buchionye, that means an in-law is somebody's God or blessing in Igbo land. You know, some people say Ogo Buchionye. Yeah, so that's like your in-law could be your blessing.
Blessing. Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you, Odogu Ziji. Thank you very much. Okay, let's move the mic. Jimmy, just relax. So we are coming back to you. You might be on hot seat very soon. Let's move the mic to Yusuf. Yusuf. Yusuf, are you married to an Igbo woman? Or are you an Igbo man? Or is your father Igbo or something? I don't know. Or your mother? Let's know what the connection is. Hello, Yusuf. Can you hear me? Hello?
I think his network is off. Nobody can hear him.
Okay. Yusuf, please go back. Go leave the panel and go and release some power. Then come back so that you can join this conversation. We need to hear from you. Okay.
Please,
Odo Akaji.
Shuka, allow me to introduce my uncle.
Oh yeah. Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Uncle Odo Akaji, the one and only. Alakukwaka here. I was going to actually call him off because I know he has a story to tell, but thankfully he came up himself. Uncle Ngwa, the mic is yours.
Nelo, bye. There. I think all protocols duly observed. I was actually passing by. I wanted to listen, more than just so I know how this thing works for people, or the story behind the relationships. So I'm from Ohafia, so which is now in Abia State, because they've been carving and carving and carving. I was born in Enugu, and my wife is Yoruba from a place called Okitibokpa, Igbo Tako in Ondo State. So we met in the northeast of England in 1995.
Hello. It's like sorry. It's like your voice just went down, declined. Okay.
I left her a message. Yeah, I have done.
You're back.
I have done. Can you hear me?
You're back now. Yeah, we can hear you clearly.
Yes. Good. Yeah. So for me, I think I've always lived with a blank check. So it wasn't like something top on my agenda to say, oh, this person from here. My dad was a civil servant, so we did a lot. In those days, they used to shuffle them around, So you can imagine, before we were born in Enugu, he'd already been to Goja, because we were all East Central State then. He's been to Goja, he's been to Afikpo, he's been to Abakaliki, he's worked everywhere. And so that wasn't such a big deal. But it just so happened that round about the time I started thinking about a relationship, she was the one. All those other talks as well, there were issues, concerns from both sides. My elder brother had married from Etiti, which is close to Mbano, what do they call these local governments now? I think it will be Hitobom. They all used to be Etiti local government, so it had Ihite and then Obama. I think might have been split.
Yes.
So So we spent some time there as well. My dad was transferred to Etiti from Enugu after the East Central State thing. So we came to Imo State. And so my brother went back there to marry. They actually met in Yola, believe it or not. And as far as my mother was concerned, my brother married Oluronyemba. That is the Ohafia speak. Oluronyemba. So he married from outside. And, so for her, it was such a big deal. So my own, if you can imagine, if somebody that went from Abia to Imo married from outside, then the person that's coming to introduce someone from the Southwest, where has he married? So my dad's own, he was quite ambivalent because bless his socks, he turned down the person his parents arranged for him. Unfortunately, we knew the lady, his cousin married the lady, and they had a very successful relationship. So I think he was a bit more ambivalent about the whole thing. He wasn't, he just said, they can be very elaborate. I think that was one English that just stuck to my head. And, they can be very elaborate about things. And So yeah, and on the wife's side as well, she said to me when she was finishing from university, she went to Unilag, and thankfully she went to Queen's College. So Queen's College was a melting pot, people from all over the place. So, and up to today, they have a fantastic alumni. You know, they in fact have her Igbo friends call me their in-law. They think I'm the in-law, not the other way around. She's their sister, and I'm their in-law. So I think that helped her perspective. So she was quite broad-minded. But she said when she finished uni from Unilag, her dad said, look, if they send you anywhere, that's fine. But if they send you to the east, you're not going. No, I do not owe the Igbo man, and the Igbo man doesn't owe me. You know? So so that came up quite quickly early on. You know, she said it. But I don't think she or he or anybody thought I was going to show up. But I did show up. And like I said, she was quite broad-minded. We were both Christians. We believed in the leading of God, etc., etc. And so she was just talking about the practical debates that took place in the house. She sat her dad down and said, now I'm not saying this to generalize. I'm just repeating what was said, so nobody should take this as, you know, me stereotyping, because I don't really like it. But she said to her dad, in this street, I won't mention the name of the street, in our street here, you know, how Lagos now, they put, this was in the Ogba area, a very nice, lovely place. They put all this gate to, you know, and security so you can then get through and then start going from 1 to 2 and all that. And he said, in this street, aside from you and Mr. Blah de Blah, who's married to an Igbo woman, the only people in this street that are married and devoted to one wife are the Igbos. And so...
How dare she? I got to say, I said that to her father.
Yeah, she did. You know, she takes a lot after the man, so she spoke her mind, and that was funny. And then coincidentally, their longest tenant, you know, a man that comes to England and that stayed there and was almost like family. In fact, when I went for my mom's funeral, her sister made me take her to go and see the man. He's 87 now. You know, in Asaga, Ohafia. So the man just happened to also come from Ohafia. So, you know, and there has been jokes, you know, and they met here, they know each other. The man had a house here in England and all that stuff. So I guess the man helped. He helped a bit to say, actually, you know, this man didn't just jump out from whatever. But that was one side. Back here